Hello, this is Jer. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included. In this episode, I'm not working on a direct achievement, but rather I'm concentrating on filling up liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen in my hydrogen engine. So just converting over a petroleum engine to the hydrogen engine, first of all. And so the reason I'm doing this, as I mentioned, it's not directly going to give me an achievement, but rather it's going to enable me to do more exploration, get away from solely a red bolt generator, which is taking quite a bit of time to fill up those engines that are based on red bolts. So I'll be able to do a little bit more parallel exploration in order to get some of the other achievements in this game. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm producing a lot of oxygen in this world with my electrolyzers, but they're not producing enough hydrogen. So I go in the other planetoid that I can teleport to, and I find not one, but two hydrogen vents. So I'm quite happy about that. Not only is there two, but they're really close together. So I can stick a pump right in the center, do a little bit of filtering, and send quite a bit of hydrogen to my home world. So that's a really good start. Alright, so now you can see hydrogen being sent up to the cooling station. The hydrogen that goes from the electrolyzer has priority access to be able to get there, and the stuff that comes from the teleportation will wait when there's available spot in that pipe. So it'll all go up to the cooling station, be converted to liquid hydrogen, and then it's just a matter of getting it into that rocket, which is a little more difficult than I had perceived. So let's see what happens. So this is my first attempt at putting liquid oxygen and hydrogen into my rocket. I'm thinking it's simple as just simply connecting a pipe to the output to the input, right? What could go wrong? It's more difficult than that, and the reason for that is the hydrogen and oxygen is so cold. It's liquid, remember, minus 250 or so degrees. What happens that even though the pipe's in a vacuum, the liquid is interacting with the pipe itself and warming up, in this case, the oxygen, and it's breaking the pipe, and that oxygen, liquid oxygen, is being wasted out into that vacuum. So it's not even making it there. I'm thinking maybe I can hold on a little bit, because eventually as this happens, the pipe itself cools off. And once that happens, because it's in a vacuum, it'll maintain that negative temperature necessary for the hydrogen or in the oxygen, but it's just so wasteful, and I'm like, I just can't. There must be a better solution. Let's try something else. So I rewind and try again. Okay, so this is the second attempt for me to fill up the liquid hydrogen and oxygen in my rocket. So I decide I want to cool off the pipes before I put any liquid in there. And there's two ways to do it. I could either build it with material that's already been cold, that's kind of an annoying thing to do, or it seems a lot easier if I just push the supercoolant that's already chilled to about negative 200 degrees, that's the stuff that I'm using for oxygen, push that through the pipes, and that'll be enough sort of priming in the pipes so that when I eventually push the hydrogen and oxygen, it won't break, or if it does break, it'll only be a little bit. So that's my idea, just pushing the supercoolant through it, watching the temperatures of the pipe go down, and when the last bit of the pipe is there, disabling or removing the supercoolant, pushing it back into the system, and then put in liquid oxygen, and that seems to be working fine. And then I start to put in liquid hydrogen, and the last couple pipes, because of the way I had it set, I didn't want to set supercoolant inside my rocket, so I had to create new pipes. It's still wasting quite a bit, and it's annoying me, so I'm going to make another change. So this is my third attempt at trying to get liquid oxygen and hydrogen nicely into my rocket. So here I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing. The only difference is I'm cooling off the hydrogen line with its own supercoolant, which is a little bit colder. The other thing is I'm going to go right over the input of the rocket's liquid inputs, and I'm going to construct a temporary storage bay under those liquid tanks so that it offsets them, so I can push the supercoolant in every single pipe that it's going to have access to, so I don't have to build that last little bit of pipe with a new pipe that's going to be too warm and wasting it there. So that's the idea. Let's see how this goes. So this actually ends up being a good solution. I'm able to get liquid oxygen, hydrogen into the rocket. And I may have lost a little bit in the process of building a liquid bridge, but I can live with that. But I'm quite disappointed about the distance that a single tank of hydrogen gets you. I can only go 16 tiles compared to the 20 with the Red Bull generator. I'm sure if I had a second one, I probably could get further, but I'm just not interested in that. I'm going to change the purposes of the rocket from exploring some of the further away worlds. Rather, it's just going to concentrate on mining and exploring some of the closer by areas up to 8 tiles away, since I want another 8 tiles to get the rocket back again. So, quite disappointed with the rocket overall, but there's another problem, which I'll talk about here in a second. So this other problem that I was talking about happens when the rocket actually takes off, because it produces a lot of heat. And of course I've got the cold hydrogen and oxygen inside those pipes, and the moment they start to heat up, they're going to break the pipes. So I'm kind of back to square one. I'm literally going to go to the starting point to find another solution yet again to fill these friggin' tanks in a way that it minimizes the amount of breaking of pipes. Okay, hopefully this is the last attempt. So here is my final attempt at trying to get this system to work nicely. I put in all this automation and sensors inside the liquid oxygen little containers, but I didn't actually put a automation on the pump itself, and I'm deciding I really want to do this. So I'm gonna have to crack access into there. Not a big deal since it's mostly just liquid. I'm going to lose a little bit of oxygen and the hydrogen in there. But anyway, I put in an automation with a button to be able to turn on and off the pump for this next phase. The other thing that I'm doing here is I'm adding a way to dump liquid oxygen and hydrogen back inside the containers. So effectively what I want to do is the moment I detect that the liquid oxygen and hydrogen has been filled into the tanks, I want to have a return line going back to get the excess amount of hydrogen, liquid oxygen in the pipes to get it to go out. So that effectively there'll never be a point when liquid oxygen and hydrogen are just sitting still in those pipes. The third change that I'm making to this is making insulated pipes. I should have done that from the beginning. I wish I could make that out of ceramic pipes. I just don't have enough ceramic for that, so I'm going to use igneous rock instead. So here are the igneous insulated pipes being installed. It takes a little bit longer than the normal pipes because there's a lot more material that has to be supplied to them. And I've got both an input and an output line for both oxygen and hydrogen. Remember, we want to return the material that's sitting in the pipes back to the cooling source when the rocket is full. So here's how it works in action. I'm skipping the priming process of running supercoolant through it and figuring the liquid will, because it's never going to stay still, it'll slowly cool down those pipes and not actually break. A few pipes break in the process here and there, but not much overall. So the main thing I'm doing, I'm watching liquid oxygen and hydrogen go into the input. And the moment it's full, it's going to start returning, going back into this system, and I want to turn that button off as soon as that happens. So liquid oxygen is going back, so I'm going to click this button to tell it to stop sending liquid oxygen in that direction, so keeping those pipes empty once they're no longer needed. And I'm going to do the same thing with hydrogen, watching the hydrogen fill up. That one takes a little bit longer. There it is. So turning off a separate button for the hydrogen, telling that to stop producing or sending hydrogen into that pipe. And eventually that those 4 pipes, both in and out, will be completely empty, so they won't be able to break just due to a little bit of heating up. And now I'll be able to send this rocket up. Yay! So there it is. I finally have a system to be able to input liquid oxygen and hydrogen safely into the rocket multiple times. So I'm going to use this rocket to explore new places and ultimately get the Cluster Conquest achievement, which you'll see in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Till then, cheers.